What is 6G? Is it real? And when is it supposed to come? On July 14, 2020, Samsung released a white paper on 6G that sent shockwaves throughout the telecommunications industry and the whole world. Entitled The Next Hyper-Connected Experience for All, the paper outlines the company's vision for the next generation communication system, namely 6G, and covered various such aspects as technical and societal megatrends, new services, candidates technologies, and an expected timeline of standardization. We're not even done talking about 5G, and now 6G is already here? Wow. Find out more. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as fantastic as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today, I want to talk to you about 6G, and I want to just sort of go through the whole topic and see if it's real and when it is supposed to happen. The Samsung announcement is important because this conglomerate is a leader in multiple sectors of the global telecommunication industry. So whatever they say matters. But before we delve into the company's press release, let's review a few fundamental elements about 6G. What is it? 6G, aka sixth generation wireless, is the successor to 5G cellular technology. 6G networks will be able to use higher frequencies than 5G networks and provide substantially higher capacity, a much lower latency. One of the goals of the 6G internet will be to support 1 microsecond latency communications, representing 1,000 times faster or one of 1,000 the latency than 1 millisecond throughput. The 6G technology market is expected to facilitate large improvements in the areas of imaging, presence technology, and location awareness. So working in tandem with artificial intelligence, another key topic we've already covered in another show, you might want to double check that. So working in tandem with artificial intelligence, the computational infrastructure of 6G will be able to independently determine the best location for computing to occur. This includes decisions about data storage, processing, and sharing. Is this whole thing real? Is the 6G thingy real? Yes and no. Yes, 6G, or whatever it's eventually called, will eventually replace 5G, but currently 6G is not a functioning technology and is instead in the early research phase. Mobile telecoms companies are much too focused on 5G to have to deal with 6G in any significant way at the moment, and for the foreseeable future too, if you think about it. When is it coming? When is 6G coming? 6G is expected to launch commercially by 2030. The technology is being developed in response to the increasingly distributed radio access networks, the RAN, and the desire by governments to take advantage of the terahertz spectrum to increase capacity and again lower latency. So while we're currently in the midst of that, this is a moving industry. This is a graduating industry, if you will. While some early discussions have taken place to define 6G, research and development activities will start in seriously around 2021. Many of the problems associated with deploying millimeter wave wave radio for 5G new radio are expected to be solved in time for network engineers to address the challenges of 6G. How fast will 6G be? We've been talking about lower latency, all this kind of technical jargon. Let's just break it down. Nobody knows at the moment how fast 6G will be. The final standards that will define what a 6G connection is will probably be down to the International Telecommunications Union, the ITU. The ITU nailed down the standards for 5G, which it refers to as IMT 2020 recently, but began working on the project in 2012. So it took them about 8 years to determine the standards for 5G. That hasn't stopped experts guessing how fast 6G will be, though. One of the most often quoted is from Dr. Mahar from the University of Sydney, who claimed that 6G could deliver mind-boggling speeds of 1 terabyte per second or 8,000 gigabytes per second. Think about it. So forget one movie downloaded in a few seconds from Netflix with 5G. With 6G speeds like that, in just 1 second, you could download 142 hours of Netflix movies. Think about it. I just love it. I mean, I love binge watching Netflix movies and documentaries. So if I can download 142 hours in 1 second, that's just fantastic. As for the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union, it hasn't published much on 6G yet. In May 2019, according to various media sources, the ITU talked about IMT 2030, which it describes as a hybrid network and an upgrade to 5G, rather than a new network entirely, which we expect 6G to be. I'll be right back, right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are still here and enjoying the conversation. I'm just talking to you about 6G, whether it is real or not real, and when it is supposed to come, really. And if you love this kind of content, you love the clarity and the quality of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be informed in real time whenever we drop a new show. What will 6G mean to you? 6G will be like 5G, but more so. Think about even higher speeds, lower latency, and masses of bandwidth. Researchers and scientists are talking about 6G going beyond a wired network, with devices acting as antennas using a decentralized network not under the control of a single network operator. So if everything connects together with using 5G, 6G will set disconnected devices free, as higher data speeds and lower latency make instant device-to-device connection possible. While the technology we expect to emerge from 5G, I'm talking about autonomous cars to drones and smart cities, will be enhanced further with 6G. It may also bring about sci-fi applications like the integration of our brains with computers and greatly improved touch control systems. The experts are saying right now that we can look into the realms of science fiction becoming science fact, saying speeds in excess of 100 gigabytes could make it possible for sensory interfaces, for example, to feel and look just like real life, potentially through smart glasses or contact lenses. Who is working on 6G at the moment besides Samsung? So just like 5G, most major telco companies as well as government will work on 6G projects, and several are already talking about plans. So Japan has most recently launched its 6G project following a press conference in January 2020 where it announced an intention to lead standardization effort and study challenges. In November 2019, China announced the formation of a research team dedicated to 6G, while in Finland, for example, the 6G flagship research program is backed by Nokia, the University of Oulu, and other telecoms and business bodies. A 6G summit business event took place in Finland, in Helsinki in 2019, and they will do so again in March 2020. Now, the thing here is that they have postponed the meeting from March 2020 to March 2021 because of the current health crisis. Now, so you have also Samsung, of course, you have LG, who are working hard on this. We also have Huawei, of course. The interesting thing is that we haven't seen an American firm actually taking a leadership role in this research. People are saying that this is because of the ongoing crisis between the United States and China, the trade war, the so-called trade war between President Donald Trump and President Xi Jinping. But our team really thinks that it's more a strategic choice. American companies have the capabilities, they have the resources. It's just maybe they are working behind the scenes and we just don't know yet. Do we even need 6G? More than ever before, the sixth generation of cellular wireless communications will integrate a set of previously disparate technologies, including deep learning and big data analytics. So by introducing 6G, we are paving the way for much of this convergence. So the need to deploy large large spectra of computing forces to ensure overall throughput. It's very important. You want overall throughput and low latency for ultra reliable, low latency communication. So you also have to think about the strong relationship that experts are now seeing between future 6G solutions and high performance computing HPC. While some of the IoT device data will be handled by edge computing resources, much of it will require processing by more centralized HPC resources. What 6G will look like? Let's just break it down. Experts are saying that 6G wireless sensing solutions will selectively use different frequencies to measure absorption and adjust frequencies accordingly. This is because atoms and molecules emit and absorb electromagnetic radiation at characteristic frequencies, and the emission and absorption frequencies are the same for any given substance, right? So 6G will have big implications for many government and industry solutions in public safety and critical asset protection, such as, let me give you an example, threat detection, health monitoring, feature and facial recognition, decision making in areas like law enforcement and social credit system. We already see hints of that in China, and even hints of that in the West, in the United States, in the UK, when it comes to law enforcement using artificial intelligence and deep learning. You also have air quality measurements and gas and toxicity sensing. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are about to wrap up today's show, and I want to talk to you now about Samsung's 6G plan. Now, let's talk about the announcement. The exact link to the press release is here. We put it on the screen. You can see it. You can go and read it yourself. We have a screenshot here where we have Samsung 6G white paper lays out the company's vision for the next generation of communication technology. You can read the whole thing about it, and it says very clearly here that the white paper covers various aspects related to 6G, including technical and societal megatrends, new services, requirements, candidate technologies, and an expected timeline of standardization. So and it goes on to say that while 5G commercialization is still in its initial stage, it's never too early to start preparing for 6G because it typically takes around 10 years from the start of research to commercialization of a new generation of communications technology. And that's the head of the Advanced Communication Research Center who said that. So, and he went on to say, we have already launched the research and development of 6G technologies by building upon the experience and ability we have accumulated from working on multiple generations of communications technology, including 5G. So Samsung is very keen on having a leadership role here. One thing that they're working on 3 elements when it comes to 6G, where they see the most potential. They have something called truly immersive XR, high fidelity mobile hologram, and digital replica. So they're saying here is that and you can see this on the screen. We put this on the screen right now. Just look at it. So whereas 5G requirements mainly focused on performance aspects, Samsung defines 3 categories of requirement that have to be met to realize 6G services: performance, architectural, and trustworthiness requirements. So yes, we have it here. If we move on to the next slide, we also have the one of the elements that they're working on. They have something called air latency, connection density, reliability, peak data rates, user experience data rate, and energy efficiency. We actually reached out to Samsung to have more information about this, but obviously they didn't reply to us. It makes sense. Some of this, if not most of this, is a trade secret. They can show this to you, but they're not going to go in details. But we just wanted to show it to our viewers for transparency reasons. And so if you move on, they also have the paperwork is still here. The paperwork is available on their website. And one of the things that really touched us is when they said that the white paper also introduces candidate technology that could be essential to satisfy the requirement for 6G. This includes the use of the terahertz frequency band, novel antenna technology to enhance the coverage of high frequency band signals, advanced duplex technologies, the evolution of network topology, spectrum sharing to increase the efficiency of frequency utilization, and the use of AI in wireless communications. The last part was very important for us because with the advent of 6G, eventually, the ability to use artificial intelligence in wireless communications is just fantastic. Think about it. In other words, you are using your phone, you can transform your smartphone into a deep learner, into a deep machine learner. That's just great. So, folks, thank you so much for today's conversation. I really appreciate it. We wanted to share with you what we have learned from our investigation of the 6G world. And just kind of quickly recap what we talked about today. What is 6G? Is 6G real? When is 6G coming? How fast will 6G be? What will 6G mean to you? Who is working on 6G right now? Do we even need 6G? What 6G will look like? And Samsung's 6G plan. I'll talk to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.